sheaf of rice Miss Ellen's bucket with a hole. In the golden plains of the south, where the wind whispered through the wheat stalks and the sky was always bluer than memory, lived an old woman named Miss Ellen. She had lived alone for many years, her husband had died in his sleep years ago, and her children had each gone to a distant city. However, Miss Ellen never complained. She would wake up early in the morning, drink her cinnamon tea, and walk to the old well on her farm with 2 metal buckets. One of the buckets was new and shiny, and the sound of it filling with water was like morning music. But the other was old and rusty, with a small hole in the side of its body. Every time Ellen returned from the well, half the water from the bucket would spill on the path, soaking the ground. The neighbors had often said, "Miss Ellen, that bucket is no good anymore. Buy a new one, it's easier." But she would just smile and say, "Everything has a story. This bucket has its own story." One summer, her teenage grandson, Tommy, came to Mrs. Ellen's farm for vacation. Tommy was an energetic and inquisitive boy. From the first day, he noticed that one of the buckets was losing water on the way. He, who loved order and efficiency, could not understand why his grandmother still used that bucket. One day, when Ellen came back from the well, Tommy said, "Grandma, you know that half the water in this bucket is going to spill, right? Why don't you change it? You go to all this trouble, but half of it is going to waste." Ellen looked at the bucket, then turned back to the dirt path, and said, "Come with me tomorrow morning, and you'll see for yourself." The morning was cool, and the sun had just risen behind the mountains. Tommy walked beside Mrs. Ellen. When they came back from the well, Ellen said, "Now look to the left of the path." Tommy was surprised to see that all along the path were sunflowers, daisies, nightshades, and even a few mint bushes. The colors sparkled in the morning light, and the breeze carried their fragrance through the air. Butterflies sat on the flowers, and the sound of bees echoed in the air. Ellen said, "I sowed flower seeds along this path a few months ago. The water from the leaky bucket has watered them every day. Now this path is more beautiful, not because of the healthy bucket, but because of the imperfection that has served so unassumingly." Tommy fell silent. He looked at the flowers, at the bucket, and then at his grandmother's calm face. Something stirred in his heart. It was as if he had understood that not everything in life is measured solely by logic and efficiency. From that day on, Tommy went to the well with Miss Ellen every morning. Not just for water, but to see the flowers that had grown imperfectly. Sometimes he sat by the path, opened his notebook, and drew pictures of the flowers. Sometimes he wrote poems for them. And the bucket with the hole, silently, poured water every day. And flowers grew.